So you'll be speaking at CX Week Canada, and your session is intriguingly titled, Give Your Customers What They Need, Not What They Want. So why is it important to apply this distinction, and what does it mean, really?
I think a lot of businesses set themselves up for failure because they're very good at talking it up through their marketing. So they will say things like, we have the best service and the best price and the best quality, and we deliver the best experiences. And, they'll use phrases like, we go above and beyond, or we exceed your expectations. The thing is, if you don't know what your customers expect, then you can't exceed their expectations. And the only real way to know what your customers expect is to tell them what to expect from you.
Right.
All right. And companies like McDonald's have done an incredible job of doing that because nobody ever goes into a McDonald's expecting something different than what they get.
So what is the middle ground there?
What businesses should be doing is talking about exactly what they're going to give. If you're a health club, for example, you could say, we have unbelievably clean facilities. All of our equipment is always up to date, always taken care of. Our staff are always friendly, things like that, right? That's what people want to hear. You're not creating false expectations.
You're actually quite skeptical about social media as an effective tool, right, for brands to build relationships with customers. If I go to Shell to get my gas pumped, or I buy peanut butter from, say, Skippy, I'm not sure that I want to read blog posts or watch videos from them. So how should a brand determine how much time and money to sink into social media?
So I think there's three key components that businesses need to take into account. And number one is practical aspect. So for example, back to your example about Skippy peanut butter. You may not have an affection for Skippy peanut butter, but maybe you have an affection for baking. And you know that if Skippy peanut butter is always sharing great recipes, well, that's a reason you might want to follow them or connect with them through social media. So there's that practical aspect. The second one is a genuine affection. So for example, you get companies like Ferrari or Nike or Under Armour, where consumers have a genuine affection for the brand. So if you go on Ferrari social media sites, you'll see they have tens of thousands, perhaps millions of followers. But the truth is only a very tiny percentage of those may actually be customers or even potential customers, but they have a genuine affection for the company. So there's that connection that they want. And then the third one being always the entertainment factor. So some brands are just really, really good at capturing attention simply because people want to know what they'll say. A great example is Taco Bell. So even if you've never eaten at Taco Bell, if you follow Taco Bell on Twitter or on Facebook, you'll be pretty entertained because they post a lot of really funny stuff. Not only do they make fun of themselves, but they also have been known to sort of pick on and harass other fast food companies. Okay. So there's that entertainment aspect. But the fact is, a lot of companies either don't get it or their egos are so big that they think that people would just naturally want to connect with them. Often, the best social media campaign is just to listen. But if you need to reach us,
right,
we will listen. We'll try to fix things in a timely manner.
And another thing I wanted to ask you about is, corporate greenwashing and the plant-based meat craze. And this came about because I was in a Target on Sunday afternoon and I saw that Tide had made a plant-based detergent. And I was like, what? And also I saw an article that the CEO of Whole Foods said that actually, these plant-based chicken nuggets and burger patties that, a lot of fast food chains are focusing on, they're highly processed and they're not necessarily better for your health. What do you think?
I think you're right. The studies have shown that a lot of them contain exorbitant amounts of salt and sodium, that they are in fact heavily processed, that the nutritional value is sometimes below that of going with a regular beef-based product. But this is the current trend. The fast food places, they're seeing a huge increase in sales. But what's interesting, though, is I've heard that most of these companies are actually losing money on every plant-based burger that they sell.
Oh, really?
Because the cost is extremely high and they can't price it out of reach. So they are actually losing money.
We also see the same customer pain points emerging time and time again in the same industries. And I can name a few, retail, transportation, telecommunications. So why do you think that in this era of customer centricity, there are certain sectors that are a bit slow to get on board?
To me, it's a company culture thing. that the management at the top has decided they do not want to make that investment. And maybe they're getting away with it. Maybe even though they're losing customers, they view it as, we're saving money. The money we're saving exceeds the money we're losing by having customers leave us.
Yeah, because I'm curious about this notion of what I like to call customer complicity, where customers condone a poor service experience because that's just the industry status quo.
I think to an extent you're right. If it's an industry-wide thing, the airline industry, for example, has done a number of things that have lowered our expectations as consumers. So we expect everything from long lines at customs, which isn't the airline's fault, but it's part of the flying experience. We expect that we're going to pay to bring our suitcases, which is ridiculous to go on a trip. And they're like, you want to bring a bag? Well, you got to pay for that. And there's a specific seat you want? You got to pay for that. I mean, how crazy is that? Are we happy about it as consumers? Not necessarily, but we shrug our shoulders and we say, that's just the way it is. And all it takes is one company to step up and say, you know what, we're going to do things different. We're not going to do it like everybody else.
I guess there are certain industries that we shouldn't expect to change anytime soon then.
Oh, I would totally agree. Yeah. I mean, it really comes down to, in large part, competition. For the most part, companies are reactive, not proactive. Even the ones that want to claim to be proactive, they're all being driven by profits. All right, because that's the job, first and foremost, of every company is to turn a profit. You look at so many disruptors in different industries, whether it be Uber or Airbnb or what Tesla is doing to the auto industry. Is the auto industry freaking out because of Tesla? They're not, because Tesla has less than 2% of the market.
Yeah, I like how you sort of give this dose of realism. You say, well, there are certain industries that just need to be left alone. We can't expect them to improve CX anytime soon unless the market shifts. So I think you have a unique perspective in that sense, because CX leaders like to push this idea that, well, it's profitable for every company to invest in a better customer experience. And sometimes, as you said, it's not.
It's not. Providing a better customer experience doesn't always cost more. In many cases, it can save money, but there is an initial investment. There's a learning curve. There's going to be some bumps along the way for both the company and the customer. And for a lot of companies, that's territory they do not want to venture into.